You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, experts say it's a good idea to have your car completely cleaned off before hitting the road. Our very own Lonnie Walton talks to an expert as to why you should do that.
Also, the snow and ice has turned 4 state roads into a dangerous mess for some drivers. We'll have a few tips that could help keep you safe as you drive.
And speaking of that dangerous mess, we still have slick spots out there, hence the volume of cancellations we have. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door and a look at those road conditions coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 o'clock on this Thursday, February the 13th, Galentine's Day. Yes. It's apparently for the ladies. I know I've heard the term. I just never really knew what it was. And then Elise has explained it to me. So for the kids who aren't in school today, there's your lesson. Galentine's Day is for the ladies to honor their friends.
Yeah,
like that.
To spend time with your girlfriends. Yeah.
Well, all right. And that's, honestly, I can see why, guys probably don't do that. I don't know if James or Tim back there would like to,
well, you never know.
spend time with me. But, if you are heading out, maybe you didn't have to get out yesterday. You haven't touched your car yet. You need to make sure it is clear.
Yeah, well, if you haven't, as you go to your car, you might find it covered in snow and ice.
For the safety of others and yourself, local experts want to remind drivers that you need to clear off all parts of your vehicle before taking off. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
A few years ago, we were coming through Iowa, and there was a snowplow on the road, but the lights on the back of the snowplow was covered with snow.
Mike Gideon is the owner of Gideon Auto and Tire in Joplin. He says he once encountered a vehicle he could barely see because his taillights were covered in snow.
To come up on a vehicle going significantly slower without being able to see him was a problem.
Now, while Gideon is worried about those taillights, AAA spokesperson Nick Shabaria says the top of the car is also important.
Any snow or ice left on a vehicle, on the roof, for example, that's going to become dislodged, and it can become dislodged while you're driving.
Shabaria says these chunks of ice carry a heavy punch.
Those chunks of ice coming off your vehicle can have the same force as bricks being thrown from your vehicle.
Shabaria and Gideon both understand it's freezing outside, but some things need a little more attention.
Make sure you're clearing off all the snow and ice from your vehicle, paying particular attention to the hood and the roof, especially if you have an SUV or a vehicle that has a roof rack.
Down the road, the snow on the hood will blow up onto the windshield, so you need to at least clear the front of the car. Obviously, you want to make sure all the windows are clear, your mirrors are clear, and that the lights on the car are clear.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, Gideon says one of the places he sees people forget is the taillight and brake lights. He says the more you clear off, of course, the better.
Absolutely. And you've got to be cautious because you don't want to be driving down the highway. Yeah, if it's on your roof, okay, it's not a big deal to you necessarily, but to the folks behind you when an iceberg flies off your car. Right. I mean, I've seen snow come off of cars in sheets on dash cam videos, and they'll shatter the windshield behind you.
Or you brake and it comes forward and it blocks your view and it's too heavy for your windshield wipers to wipe off.
Or bust your windshield wipers, so make sure you clear off your vehicle. You don't want to go out and clear it off now. Honestly, if you can stay home, do that. But if you have to get out, you need to get it cleared off, okay? Here's a live look downtown Pittsburgh. The sun is rising. It looks pretty good. We still do have some concerns with slick spots on the roadways. That's why we've still got a number of cancellations out there and closings because the main roads are improving. But this is a great example. And again, I want the road folks to understand. I want the communities and the states to understand. I know you guys are out there and I know you're doing your best work. But you can see they've got a lot of work that they've got to do. We had that sleet, some freezing drizzle ahead of that. You can't plow ice. So there's still going to be slick spots. And you're still going to want to slow down or stay home if you absolutely can so the road crews can finish what they need to get done. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh, this is a great example of some of that black ice that's going through there. As road crews continue to work on it, you're going to have to slow down. You're going to have to be careful because you don't know the changing road conditions, how quickly they'll change, and what you might run into. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. Again, main roads are for the most part decent, but you still want to slow down out there. I-44 cameras from MoDOT around the metro area look pretty good. You see, we've got some spots here on this bridge. This is Coyote over I-44. So again, like yesterday, it's Love's off to the right. Heading south, you want to watch out. You want to watch out on all the bridges and overpasses and the on-ramps and off-ramps there because there's still going to be some patchy black ice. Cold weather advisories, by the way, Oklahoma, Arkansas through 9 o'clock this morning because it is very cold now and it will be pretty darn chilly throughout most of the day. Light and variable winds, but that's still going to be enough to make it feel a little colder. By noon, maybe a cloud here or there. Otherwise, clear skies and cold temperatures across the region. That will be the case throughout the entire day. And then later this evening, winds will shift out of the east at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So that'll make it feel a little bit colder. Take a look at this. It is 1 in Neodesha and Parsons. 1. This isn't the wind chill, by the way. This is the temperature. 1. Neodesha, Parsons. 3, Iowa. 5, Fort Scott, and Nevada. And you factor in even that light breeze, it feels like it is 11 below zero in Independence, 7 below zero at Yates Center, 8 below in Iola. So you get the 4 below Joplin, Carthage. You get the idea. It's bitterly cold out there. So again, if you don't have to be out, don't. All right. Highs today, upper 20s, clearing skies, maybe a cloud here or there, and just otherwise bitterly cold temperatures. Now we're going to get back to normal, which, by the way, that's the upper 40s, tomorrow into Saturday, and then there are more changes on the way, and we will go over all of those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. And while the winter weather has passed, a number of schools have announced that school will be closed today. Now, to stay up on all of the latest school, government, and church closings, just scan this QR code and go straight to the closings page of our website. And you can, of course, get the latest road conditions and power outages across the area anytime through this QR code. It'll direct you to links on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com, for information for each of the 4 states in our viewing area. Well, roads, the 4 states were packed with the snow, leading to multiple crashes all around the area. Now, it's still bad on some highways and worse on many side roads. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Road conditions deteriorated earlier this morning.
Snowy roads across the 4-state area caused some hazardous road conditions.
Suddenly hitting a slick spot or a spot that starts to refreeze with the temperature starting, as temperatures start to drop.
And Cherokee County is no different. Cherokee County Sheriff's Department responded to 6 accidents, although Sheriff Brian Henderson says there's evidence that there may have been more accidents in Cherokee County.
One injury crash that resulted in a occupant of a vehicle being transported to the hospital.
The head-on crash that took place on Highway 69 in Cherokee County sent 2 people to the hospital. Other areas in southeast Kansas also dealt with the difficult road conditions. Crawford County responded to about 17 accidents, and Bourbon County dealt with about 4 slide-offs. Sheriff Brian Henderson says it's best to stay off the roads if you can.
And they slide off or they leave the roadway, they're putting others in danger because somebody has to respond to that crash. And then as we're responding, other vehicles are yielding to us. And sometimes, for example, tractor trailers, if they stop on a hill, they can't get going again because they can't get the traction.
And in Missouri, there was a rollover crash on Range Line near River Road. One woman suffered non-life-threatening injuries. In Jasper County, there were a few cars that slid off the road as well. Sheriff Brian Henderson says if you do have to travel, it's best to have a safety kit in case an emergency takes place.
Safety plan in place of making sure they do have some blankets and water and things, that secure safety kit with them at all times.
I'm Melissa Alexis reporting.
Well, Cherokee County Sheriff Brian Henderson says if you do have to travel in the snow, it's best to leave early so you have extra time to drive slowly. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Dustin Luno from the Joplin Fire Department is with us this morning to share more about the silent killer, carbon monoxide. And later, we'll take a look into a new trend that shows your level of commitment to your partner. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Welcome back. We have Dustin Luno from the Joplin Fire Department with us this morning to share with us the dangers of the silent killer, carbon monoxide. Good morning and welcome to you, Dustin.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. A little cold this morning, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of cold, people are heating up their houses, and carbon monoxide is crucial to that, of course. And so talk to me a little bit about that.
Right, so carbon monoxide is a byproduct of combustion. So any propane or natural gas fired equipment, central heat, hot water heater, stove, anything like that does produce carbon monoxide. Now, 99% of the time, it's vented properly, and we don't ever have an issue with it. However, if maybe there's a cracked heat exchanger or some type of an issue with the venting itself, there could be a buildup of that gas in the house itself. Carbon monoxide is odorless. It is colorless. You don't see it, you won't smell it, you don't taste it, and it mixes with air just perfectly. So, although a very small percentage of air could be a very big thing for us, carbon monoxide has a greater affinity for hemoglobin. So. It binds to those cells that carry oxygen in our body. Think of like a magnet, like a regular magnet you can pull apart. But you ever have those super magnets? You're like, man, I can't pull them apart. That's how carbon monoxide acts in our hemoglobin. So we have to be careful with that. So if you do have gas-powered equipment, natural gas, propane, anything like that, you do need to have a carbon monoxide detector in your house. It can be anywhere. They'll recommend that near the bedrooms you can have one that plugs in the wall. You don't have to have it on the ceiling or a certain height because it does mix with air. And something most people don't know is those detectors do expire. At about 10 years, they're going to start making a little beeping noise that tells them that it's expired. Then we replace them and keep going. We actually have carbon monoxide detectors on every one of our medical bags at the Joplin Fire Department. So if we've come in your house, we've actually been measuring every time. So if you ever have a question, if you're at home and you're having, you're lightheaded or dizzy or headache is kind of a telltale. Now, people get headaches all the time, but the entire family at once would be kind of odd. So give us a call. We'd be happy to come out and walk through the house with our detector. If there's nothing, great. We know that you're safe. And if there is, we can get the gas company out there and we can figure out what's going on and make sure that you stay safe.
Absolutely. Well, Dustin, thank you so much. Important reminders there. We'll, of course, have all those reminders later on this morning on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:16 on this Thursday morning. We're going to start the live look downtown Pittsburgh. The sun is rising. We have a few clouds out there this morning. Roads are still going to have slick spots. And again, as we've been saying this morning, that's why we have, again, so many closings and cancellations today. Because while most of the main roads are getting better, a lot of side roads and other city streets and rural roads have not seen much improvement because we haven't had an opportunity to do any melting. And road crews still have a lot that they've got to get done out there because we got a lot of freezing that happened last night. MoDOT cameras on I-44 around metro area, and this is a good example. You can see some possible slick spots here on the bridge. This is Coyote. South of Joplin is I-44 down below. That's Love. So if you're looking, we're heading north back up toward Joplin. From Seneca, you got to watch out. Black ice is going to be the biggest concern. That's going to be one of those things you're not going to see it until you're on top of it. This is a good example of where we still have some slick spots here on 69. This is the southbound lanes coming out of Pittsburgh. So you definitely want to slow down and be cautious as road crews continue to do their thing. And again, with all the cancellations and closings, if you don't have to be out today, don't. That way they've got plenty of time and space to get things done out there. Roads continue to improve, though, a little across the area. We still have in Kansas, we have some clear roadways around Iola back toward Fredonia, Eureka, Chanute, still some partly covered to what they call wet or seasonal pavement, meaning there's slick spots, but nothing significant. And then we still have partly covered highways as you get back around Pittsburgh, back toward Girard. You head north of Parsons, down to Oswego, and around the Columbus area on 69 down to the state line out there. So you want to be careful. So again, watch out for black ice because that can't be plowed. So they've got to treat it, and that's going to take some time. We also still have, right now, we're looking at clear roadways for most of southwest Missouri. Still have some partly covered around the Joplin area. You can kind of see here. And then parts of 160 coming in from the state line to 43 and 43 north to 54 just on the west side of Nevada. We also have cold weather advisories out there, Arkansas and Oklahoma and Arkansas until 9 this morning because it is bitterly cold, which we'll show you in a moment. Today, again, a few clouds, otherwise sunny skies, light and variable winds, very cold temperatures, though. Late this evening, winds will shift out of the east at about 5 to 10. Clouds begin increasing tomorrow morning. We'll start the day cold. Clouds increase. This will not happen. We're not expecting any real precipitation of any kind tomorrow. We'll have south winds gusting upwards of 30, bringing in seasonably warm temperatures back into the mid to upper 40s. It's almost going to feel like shorts weather. It won't be, but it'll almost feel like that. Then overnight into Saturday, some rain chances out there, more rain chances with a cold front approaching Saturday afternoon. Could even have a couple of thunderstorms, but no severe weather in our forecast for this particular go-around. Temperatures still very warm on Saturday, but as that front pushes through, temperatures drop back behind it, winds shift out of the north, and then we have that possibility of some snow out there. Now at this point, it's going to be a little too warm, a little too wet for this snow to stick to that much, but we still could see some light snow, and the problem is temperatures are going to get very cold again Saturday night, which could lead to freezing on roadways as well, so you'll want to watch out Sunday morning. It is 1 in Neodesha and Parsons, 2 in Pittsburgh, 4 in Yates Center, and our wind chills feels like 11 below zero in Independence, 8 below zero in Iola. Most of us at or a little below zero out there with those wind chills. So again, very cold start to the day, so stay in where it's warm if you can. Upper 20s today, upper 40s tomorrow, upper 40s, low 50s Saturday, dropping back into the teens though Saturday night. Cold on Sunday, back to normal on Monday, and watching that possibility of additional wintry weather next week with more cold temperatures. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this. I certainly remember this, but do you remember back when confirming your relationship status on Facebook was a sign of making the connection official or Facebook official? Well, there's a new emerging trend, and it's showing how location sharing may be the new way to solidify your status with your partner.
Now, from establishing trust, boosting mental health, and more, Fox News' Ted Lindner takes a closer look at why more couples are hopping onto this bandwagon, especially with Valentine's Day right around the corner.
Romance is in the air, and as folks celebrate Valentine's Day, lovebirds are flocking to a growing trend, with many couples now sharing their locations with each other.
95% of adults use some form of location sharing tech, with 40% relying on apps like Life360.
According to survey results from family location safety app Life360, users on average reported checking their app about 7 times a day.
They're using it for knowing that their partner is safe, or being alerted when they're not, so seeing where they are on the map, versus having to sort of text or call.
And folks say having access to their partner's whereabouts helps build trust.
Nearly 60% of them say that sharing makes their relationship just feel more official. Nearly 70% say that it improves convenience and coordination in the relationship.
You just feel like more connected to their life, even when you're not by their side.
Refusing to share your location could work against you, with 21% of people saying it might be a deal breaker if their partner declines to participate.
It's kind of just a matter of why wouldn't you share your location? Just having it with that person as well is an important factor for me.
Meanwhile, Life360 is also being used among married couples, with users saying it helps them keep track of where their family is.
The Life360 became our way of being able to see where each other was whenever we were going to get home, keeping everything straight with the kids.
And that peace of mind has 45% of folks saying location sharing has boosted their mental health. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Oh, no. No. Okay, Facebook official is one thing where you post the thing and it says so-and-so is in a relationship with this person. Location sharing, though, maybe it's because I'm older. I don't know how you feel. But my thing is you either trust me or you don't.
I think to each their own. I think if you share, your location for safety purposes or things like that, that's one thing. But who knows?
But why do you need to check up on where you're significant? If you're in a relationship with somebody, you got to trust them. If you don't trust them and you got to find out where they are all the time, that's not a good relationship. That's just me. Anyway.
Well, coming up, much of the 4 states are dealing with the aftermath of yesterday's winter storm. We'll learn the efforts taken as road crews work to keep drivers safe.
And we still have some slick spots on the roads this morning, hence those cancellations out there. We'll have a look at road conditions and that cold forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAO Morning News on Fox 14. It's just coming up on 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. Well, now Altoona, Kansas man will soon head to prison for child sex crimes. A Montgomery County court sentenced Mickey Colorman to more than 5 years in prison after being convicted on 9 counts of sexual exploitation of a child. The convictions come 6 years after authorities arrested Colorman when they discovered pornographic images of a child on his personal device. Colorman must also register as a lifetime sexual offender and complete 24 months of post-release supervision. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. And some good road news for you this morning. The city of Joplin announces St. Louis Avenue near 9th Street will reopen. Now, they say there will be full access along this main corridor. Work in this area will now shift to the east as stormwater work progresses on South Connecticut Avenue. Drivers may want to find a detour from East Campbell Parkway to East 8th Street. Weather permitting, the work should be completed in early March. Well, the nomination round is over, and now is the time to officially vote for who you think is the 4 states' finest. You can choose from 5 different categories: eating and drinking, arts and entertainment, health and fitness, services and shopping, from businesses across the 4 states. You can scan this QR code or head over to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest to cast your votes. But don't wait, because voting ends February 19th. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Dealing with some still not so great road conditions, improving for sure, but still not great, hence all those cancellations and closings down there, and of course on our website as well. Take a look. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh, you can see like the center lane, for example, is one that's not going to be, well treated or well plowed just yet. And if you look too, you can still see some side streets got some stuff on it here. And then there's that concern for black ice, and that's really the number one concern that we've got so far this morning. We've seen some of that here on 69 in the southbound lanes, just south of Pittsburgh, whereas the northbound lanes look pretty darn good. And road crews are out. We've seen them go by on these cameras. They're doing their best out there, but if you don't have to be out on the roads today, don't. That way they've got more time and space to do what they need to do. MoDOT camera 30-second range line looking all right, and I-44 cams around the metro. Again, looking pretty good so far, but you still want to watch out for those slick spots here and there, because they're going to sneak up on you. Cold weather advisories, Oklahoma, Arkansas through 9 o'clock this morning, because it is going to be cold for a good portion of the day today. By noon, you can see not a lot of warming, maybe a few clouds here and there. Otherwise, sunny skies. Should be a pretty decent day in terms of, at least we'll see the sun, but it will otherwise be quite cold. And then eventually winds, they'll be light and variable today, but they'll pick up out of the east at about 5 to 10 as we head later into the evening and overnight. It is cold. It is 1 in Parsons and Neodesha, 2 in Sedan. Got a heat wave down south. We've got 13s, Grove Anderson, and we got 14 in Cassville. Okay, that's still 13 degrees warmer than 1. But then you factor in the wind chills, even with a light breeze. I've told you, when it's cold enough. It feels like 4 below in Joplin, 9 below in Iola, 5 below Fort Scott, Nevada. So it does feel very cold out there this morning. So again, bundle up if you have to go outside, and if you don't have to go outside, don't. It's a better idea to stay in where it's warm. Upper 20s today, just a few clouds here and there. Now we're going to warm up back to normal, which by the way, that's the mid to upper 40s as we head into tomorrow and Saturday. And then we got more changes on the way. We'll cover all that with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. Well, crews with the Department of Transportation in Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma say they've been working nonstop to treat roadways. Their area cities say they also have crews working to plow and salt major roads. KOAM Samantha Walker has more on their efforts to help keep drivers safe.
Workers have been on the road since the latest round of winter weather started to try and get as much snow and ice cleared as possible. MoDOT prepared 1,500 trucks for across the state. KDOT has 24 snowplows in southeast Kansas, and there are 6 trucks working in Ottawa and Delaware counties, provided by ODOT. Those departments say they're ready to put in long hours.
We have most of our roads are still completely covered with snow and ice. We had a little bit of ice come in before the snow, so it is treacherous, and we would advise people to delay travel. Our crews are out working 24/7, and we are covering all the highways.
Now, cities tell me they focus on clearing the major roads that they know the biggest number of people are going to be driving on, such as Rangeline and 7th Street behind me. The city of Joplin says they divide their workers up into 4 different areas to try to get the most amount of streets cleared as possible. It's a goal shared by cities across the 4 states. The crews with the city of Miami got started before 5 a.m.
We immediately started spreading some salt and sand mix to help melt some of the snow and ice to make the intersections less slick. And then about 6 o'clock, I had a couple more guys come in and get in the second truck.
Both city and state crews warn there are still lots of slick spots, even in plowed areas.
Plan for a possibility of sliding at the intersections, or, plan ahead, watch your cars, and just pay attention to other traffic.
If you have to drive and go out on the roads, there are ways you can check road conditions without leaving the comfort of home. With just a few clicks, you can find live road maps from KDOT, MoDOT, and ODOT, giving drivers real-time reports of what the roads look like.
We're out until we get done. So that's really, and I would just encourage people to, stay safe and stay in and monitor conditions.
Reporting, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, road crews for both the cities and highways ask that drivers do not try to pass them when they're working on clearing roadways. Now, they say they're out there because it's slick, so trying to pass isn't safe. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll take a deeper look into how AI is having an impact on your dating life. In Consumer Watch this morning, well, Google says it is testing a feature that will use AI to determine whether a user is under 18 across all Google products, including YouTube. Now, the company says if the machine learning determines a user is a minor, that its products will apply its standard protections for a more age-appropriate user experience. Now, this comes as lawmakers apply pressure on tech companies to create more safety measures for children online. And JCPenney says it is planning to close 8 stores across as many states over the next few months. Now, the company says the reasons for the closures are, quote, market changes and expiring lease agreements. JCPenney says the closures are not related to its merger with retail store operator Spark Group. The company filed for bankruptcy back in 2020 and announced plans to close more than 200 locations across the country. And movie theaters may need to change how they advertise a film's start time in one state. A state senator in Connecticut is calling for theaters to provide 2 start times for their showings to include preview start and movie start times. Now, the state senator says the way theaters currently advertise show times is an abuse of moviegoers' time. According to a report, some movie theater owners say if the bill is passed, it may be bad for business. And the latest inflation numbers confirming what consumers have been feeling in their wallets. But when will things get better? Fox's Kevin Uretsky has the details.
If you've been to the grocery store lately, you already know. Prices are going up and shoppers are feeling the pinch.
I don't do impulse buys anymore. I can't afford to do impulse buys.
Wednesday's Consumer Price Index report coming in hotter than expected as inflation jumped up to 3% for the month of January, with prices rising 0.5% from just a month earlier. That's the largest month-to-month increase in over a year. Eggs are a major contributor to the rising cost of food. They're up more than 50% from a year ago. The price for a dozen now pushing $5.
Oh, everyone's paying more. We're paying significantly more than we were middle of last year or late last year.
The news sent the stock market tumbling Wednesday and cooled hopes of the Fed potentially cutting interest rates.
We do not need to be in a hurry to adjust our policy stance.
The period for this CPI report does not cover President Trump's first few weeks in office, something the White House was quick to point out.
We inherited stagflation from Joe Biden, and we're not going to whine about it. We're going to fix it, and we're fixing it already.
Though it comes after Trump pledged during his campaign to lower prices on day one. And with new tariffs on the way and the possibility of more still to come, there's a lot of uncertainty over what that will mean for consumers. Earlier this month, President Trump acknowledged there could be some, quote, short-term pain before a long-term payoff. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 now on this Thursday morning, and we're going to talk about road conditions very quickly here across the area. We are continuing to see improvements. We have a number of roads listed as clear in southeast Kansas, but then we have the green, which is a combination of either wet pavement or what KDOT sometimes calls seasonal, which means there are slick spots, but it's not as bad. But you still need to slow down, watch out. And we still have partly covered roadways back into a little closer to home here down by Parsons, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Girard, Oswego. You got to slow down out there as well. We've been seeing some black ice here and there, still slick spots on the highways and, of course, the rural roads. And, again, we've got a number of school closings and other organization closings and cancellations because the side roads aren't that great. The main roads may be improving, but it's the side roads that we're still having a hard time with. And, again, some partly covered roadways still into the Missouri side. Most of these listed as clear at this point, but black ice is still a concern in some locations. We have cold weather advisories, Oklahoma and Arkansas. These will run through 9 o'clock this morning because it will be very cold. It is very cold. I will show you those temperatures here in just a moment. Now, I wish I had better news for today. We're going to see more sunshine today than we've seen here lately, but it's also going to be very cold today. So the sunshine not going to make that much of a difference for temperatures. The one piece of good news, I suppose, is we'll have light and variable winds. So we're not talking significant wind chills, but a light breeze is still enough to make it feel very cold out there. And you can see by noon, not a lot of warming taking place. Just a few clouds here and there. Otherwise, clear skies today. And again, just cold temperatures. Now, as we go later into the evening hours, we're going to have the east winds start to pick up. 5-10 miles an hour, but with temperatures like this, 5 to 10 miles an hour can be a lot on that wind chill sometimes. We've got a cold night ahead of us. Then we'll start to see clouds increasing towards sunrise, temperatures increasing towards sunrise, and then temperatures increasing throughout the day tomorrow as clouds increase as well. We'll have south winds gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour at times, so quite breezy. This is not going to actually happen. Future Track's been showing maybe some light wintry precip tomorrow afternoon, but that's not very likely. We're looking to be dry tomorrow, just cloudy and breezy, and seasonably warm. We'll eventually make the mid to upper 40s, which is right where we should be for this time of year. Now, the clouds and the wind continue overnight into Saturday. Early Saturday morning, a few showers, southeast Kansas, and as we go through the day, a cold front will approach by Saturday afternoon, and that'll bring us an opportunity for some showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms. No severe weather for us on Saturday, but some rumbles of thunder will be possible. Now, the thing is, yeah, I did say cold front. Here it is. By about noon on Saturday, winds already shifting out of the north behind it. The problem we're going to run into is, well, there are two problems. One, we could see this rain start to transition to a wintry mix or some light snow on Saturday. Now, at this point, we're expecting it to be a little too warm ahead of this, and then with the rain a little too damp on the ground for snow to really stick, but some light accumulations will be possible, very light accumulations. The bigger concern is the temperatures dropping back behind this front, and this will stop at 1 a.m., but take a look. Yates Center already down 19. We got 20s across the rest of the area, okay? This is by Sunday at 1 a.m. So we're looking at more of a concern of things freezing as we go into Sunday morning versus actual accumulation. Some more black ice concerns out there. Temperatures this morning, single digits into the low teens. It is 1 in Parsons and Neodesha. And you factor in even that light breeze, feels like 11 below in Independence, 7 below in Iola, 4 below in Joplin. We've got a lot of wind chills that are at 0 or upwards of 10 degrees below 0. So very bitterly cold start to the day. Our highs today, most of us into the upper 20s, upper teens, low 20s tonight, mid to upper 40s tomorrow, upper 40s, maybe even low 50s on Saturday, but then they plummet again back down into teens Saturday night. Cold Sunday, back to normal Monday, and we're still watching that possibility of some wintry weather as we head into next week with another round of unseasonably cold temperatures. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, data shows between 30 and 37% of American adults have used dating apps in their lifetime.
And if you're looking for love ahead of Valentine's Day, you could be getting some help from AI. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively explains.
Not everyone can fall in love at the Trevi Fountain. Some of us need help finding that real human connection and are turning to artificial intelligence, whether we realize it or not.
Because we have so many things at our fingertips and we're
leading such busy lives, it's very easy to just sit in front of a computer and push a button so that it creates some sort of opportunity for dating.
As more and more people log on to dating apps, it's likely they're leaning on AI to get their love life off the ground, whether it's optimizing the experience with profile setup, selecting the best photos, or helping flirt with potential partners.
What AI can tell you is what is going to be the most beneficial to you because they can see what people are responding to.
According to dating strategist and therapist Kimmy Seltzer, AI can improve daters' chances of compatibility and increase the number of matches.
There are matchmaking algorithms, there are virtual dating assistants, so that people can feel like they have a lot of interest and something in common, which is a building block and an offspring for people to actually connect.
Still, she says, there are some pitfalls.
We're in this swipe culture, and people are relying on that in ways of meeting people. And because of that, our social skills are going down. People are losing a sense of body language, how to talk to people. People are also getting really target specific in who they will talk to.
Popular dating app Bumble commissioned a survey that found most millennial and Gen Z users believe with the right boundaries, AI can give them a higher likelihood of success. 66% of daters say they'd use AI to create a better profile, and 78% said they'd use the tools to help with flirting on the app. Investing in AI technology last month, Hinge, another well-known app, launched Prompt Feedback, a first-of-a-kind AI coaching feature, but some people say there is no replacement for human connection.
It's one thing to be compatible with someone and have a common interest. It's another thing to connect and create attraction through what I call emotional triggers.
Seltzer also says it's important to get off the URL and connect with people IRL, suggesting folks should be more alert when they're out and about at places like the grocery store, because you never know where you might meet your next date. Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Interesting. More and more unique ways to find love, I suppose. I guess I count myself lucky. I found love quite some time ago.
Yeah, you never know if it could work for you. You never
exactly.
know.
And maybe for you, some of you folks, it'll be a great tool or resource. Best of luck, everybody. We have Valentine's Day tomorrow, so don't just go looking for love simply because it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, okay? Don't do that. That's silly. It's a bad idea. Find somebody that you really enjoy time with. And it's a great opportunity to stay inside and maybe use one of those apps because it's cold and the roads are still slick. Hence all those cancellations. Taking a look at road conditions out there in southeast Kansas. Still some partially covered roadways and wet or seasonal pavement, meaning slick spots. Onto the Missouri side, things improving, but still slick spots and the concern of black ice here and there. And we have those cold weather advisories, Oklahoma and Arkansas through 9 a.m. And it's going to be chilly today. We'll have a light and variable breeze, but at least we'll see some sunshine out there until temperatures will begin to warm up as we head into Friday afternoon with some rain chances by Saturday. We'll talk about all of that plus the news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Mickey Collarman of Altoona, Kansas will soon head to prison for child sex crimes. A Montgomery County court sentenced Collarman to more than 5 years in prison after being convicted on 9 counts of sexual exploitation of a child. The convictions come 6 years after authorities discovered pornographic images of a child on his device. Well, road crews across the 4 states are working nonstop to treat roadways. Workers have been on the road since Tuesday night to try and get as much snow and ice cleared as possible. Road crews ask that drivers do not try to pass them when they're working on clearing roadways. Now, they say they're out there because it's slick, so trying to pass isn't safe. And the nomination round is over. Now is time to officially vote for who you think is the 4 states' finest. You can scan this QR code or head over to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest to cast your votes. Voting ends February 19th.
And we've got ourselves a cold day out there, maybe a few clouds here and there, but otherwise we'll at least see some sunshine. Upper 20s, winds will be light and variable across the region, but that'll still make it feel a little colder. Temperatures into the upper teens and low 20s overnight tonight. East breeze 5 to 10, just a few clouds out there. Clouds increasing tomorrow, winds increasing tomorrow, temperatures increasing tomorrow. South breeze gusting to 30, we'll be into the mid to upper 40s, and then upper 40s, low 50s Saturday. Rain, maybe some thunderstorms, the cold front comes in. Could see that transition to snow. While we're not expecting major accumulations, temperatures will drop Saturday night, so we've got to watch out again for slick spots and black ice. A cold Sunday, more wintry weather possible next week.
Alrighty. Well, 2 teams, 2 minutes, and all the snowballs you can throw. Those are the rules at the 35th annual Koi Day International Snowball Fight in Yunanuma, Japan, where around 120 teams are wilted down to one winner over the course of a day.
The organizers say, the script definitely came from the UK. Because of how organizers is spelled. There's no Z, it's an S. Well, the organizers say it's the largest event of its kind in the country. According to the rules, players are counted out when hit by snowballs. A team wins once all opponents are out. It sounds like dodgeball, but a little safer, honestly.
Yeah, sure. Looks like a lot of fun.
Certainly, that does look like a lot of fun. And still, it's a little cold, but maybe some opportunities to get that done today. Well, we'll see you back here today at noon with more news and weather.
Have a great rest of your morning.